So you may or may not remember the video that I did a while back talking about the updates that the Hive didn't tell you about. In that video, I discussed how there were a lot of updates that happened behind the scenes but were never publicly announced. Well, as is tradition on my channel, the server staff listened, and just a few weeks later, the first small changes roundup for the Hive was released. This can be found on the updates page of the Hive website, and in this video, I'm going to be going through and discussing some of the updates that show up on the small change roundup, and talk about some changes that haven't made it onto the roundup. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and enjoy. So if you're new to my channel, a common meme about it is that whenever I talk about a server and something that needs to be changed on it, it ends up getting changed within a couple of weeks. Like, literal memes have been made about this phenomenon. Now, the intro to my previous video on this subject goes along the lines of, yeah, they use their updates page for the huge updates, but for the smaller updates, they go relatively unnoticed. There's nowhere that they really announce them. Now, the intro paragraph to the small changes roundup sounds fairly similar. Historically, we've used this page to report on game updates, events, important issues, version support, and maintenance announcements. However, small changes, features, and bug fixes have often slipped through the cracks only to be noticed by very dedicated players or those hawking the bug threads on our forums. Coincidence? I think not. But in all seriousness, I know most of the Hive staff watch my videos, and they probably just saw that video and were like, well, yeah, it's actually probably a pretty good idea to tell our players about the smaller updates on the server. But either way, let's talk about some of the new updates that have been on the first two Hive small change roundups. I will just say that a lot of these are very minor bug fixes. I'm gonna skip over a lot of them and just talk about the ones that I think are fairly significant. So first, let's talk about Treasure Wars. In the first small change roundup, the largest change was the Treasure Wars UI being changed quite a lot. Here's how it used to look. It was very simplistic and didn't really convey that much information other than whether your treasures were dead or alive. And here's what the UI looks like now. It's a lot more complex and shows a lot more information, including the health of your boss treasure. This is obviously a lot better for the player, as knowing what treasures are destroyed and how much health your boss treasure has is very useful information to have. Overall, giving this small update a thumbs up. Now, another Treasure Wars patch that was rolled out recently was one that made it so that you can't camp above or under the map anymore. This used to be a pretty big problem, and I remember running into a lot of people that used to do this. However, this update that makes you take damage out of the play area is honestly a pretty good update to solve that. One unintended bug that most likely came with this fix, however, was on the map Mushroom. If you were standing near the shopkeeper for any significant amount of time, you'd start randomly taking damage from this feature, but I'm pretty sure it's been patched now. Alright, now let's move on to survival games. There's only one thing that's actually been significantly changed about survival games, and that's the fact that owners can now create 100-player custom survival game servers. And while this is cool, as far as I know, it's not been used or shown to the public in any form yet. I definitely think we'll see use of this feature in the future, but as of now, there's not really a practical use for it. I don't know, maybe we'll see like a 100-player SG tournament or something of that sort in the future. That would be really cool. Now, that's it for the small changes roundup on SG, but there are a couple of other things that I do want to discuss about SG regarding its future. Now, just a reminder that in the last video where I talked about updates, I said that SG is up next on the roadmap for Hive updates. Since then, next to nothing has changed other than a couple of bug fixes. However, about a month ago, on stream I was ranting about how bad survival games was, because it kinda was true. And unbeknownst to me, one of the Hive owners, Ajax, was actually lurking in my chat and decided to ask for some feedback on the game and to discuss my issues with it. I said that it's basically just a walking simulator and it's extremely boring because there's nothing to do other than just walk around and try and find people to fight, which is also pretty hard because there's no way to know where people are. Either way, Ajax said that there's some sort of player detection tool coming soon, which is really cool, and that they're also looking into ways to making moving around the map a lot easier, like launch pads or teleporters or something of the sort. Now, I would like to say that neither of these are confirmed and that this is just something that an owner said in a stream chat, but it's good to know that the Hive is interested in making SG an actual playable game, because at the moment it really isn't. I am very interested for the future of SG if some of these things get added to make SG more of an enjoyable game to play. Alright, now let's move on to Skywars. So on the small change roundups, there aren't really any major updates to Skywars. However, literally 2 days before this video released, the Hive added a new map to Duo Skywars and didn't announce it at all. I wouldn't be surprised that if a few days after this video goes up, the Hive releases another small change roundup and includes the new map in it. However, because I need content for this video, we're going to talk about the new map here. I tested this map on the first day that it came out when I was streaming the other day, and honestly, I'll just let the stream speak for itself. Again, this map's called Ruby. You can probably tell by the red trees, the red stone, the attempted rubies by red terracotta in the trees, I guess. So, I don't know, it looks really nice. I honestly think it's better suited for a squads map instead of a duos map, just because of the initial fights are like weird. Looks like a lot like a squads map, honestly. Like, this is absurdly big to the point where I feel like in duos, like, this is almost a little bit too big. It looks really cool, but it's like, it's real. I don't know. I'm not sure. XM, thanks for the follow. Fidget spinner map, true. Yeah. So, to sum up my thoughts on the map once again, it's really cool and it looks nice. However, I don't think it was designed with gameplay in mind, really. It's extremely awkward to be fighting other teams basically straight off the bat since you're going to be right next to one, since that's not really a thing that happens in duos. On literally every other map, the islands are super spread apart and you don't end up fighting anyone until 30 seconds or a minute into the game. Also, for the people who like to trap and clutch, this map really isn't good for it. The islands are curved in a way that you can't really clutch, and there's really no unique materials to make traps with. Now, I'm not saying this map is bad at all. It's really beautiful and looks really nice, but in terms of gameplay, it's extremely basic and is just kind of Skywars. One of the things that I love about the Hive is that they design everything with gameplay in mind, and this feels like one of the few times that they've kind of failed at it. I still am super excited to see what other new maps in Skywars and other game modes the Hive releases in the future. That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about out of the games section of the small change roundups, and now I do want to talk about a couple of miscellaneous things as well. One of these changes that was talked about in the most recent small change roundup was that fire damage now properly penetrates armor over time. This is basically part of Hive's process to make all of the armor on the Hive work the exact same as it does in vanilla Minecraft, and so now you do in fact take fire damage when wearing Protection 1 armor. This was a bug for the longest time, but it seems to have been patched now, which is really good. However, as a result of these changes, for a few days you would actually get damage when someone punched you, which if you didn't know, on the Hive, if you have armor on and someone punches you, it does absolutely no damage. I'm gonna play a clip by Crane to show you exactly what this was like. Now, one thing that was very quietly changed about the Hive was actually a Hive partner requirement. As of recording this video, I think this has been in place for like maybe a week or so, but it's the fact that if you want to achieve Hive partner by streaming, you only have to average 70 concurrent viewers now as opposed to 100. So far, only one person has gotten a Hive partner rank as a result of this, and it's Danny is the bomb. However, I think we're going to see a lot more people get a partner rank in the near future, whether it be YouTube or streamer, just because there are a lot of people that are pulling a decent amount of views while streaming Hive content. So that's pretty much all I've got for today. I definitely plan on doing more videos like these in the future, going over some of the smaller updates on the Hive, because I know you guys like to learn about these. Be sure to let me know in a comment if you think there are any updates that I missed or didn't talk about, and I'll try and include it in the next video of this sort. With all that being said, that's going to be it for this video, and thank you all for watching. Before we end the video, I'd love to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members who support me financially for $4.99 a month. Their names are displayed up on screen as a perk of their membership, and as a huge thank you from me. If you'd like to become a channel member, you can do so by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button, or by clicking the members link in the description. Once again, big thank you to all of my members. That's gonna do it for this video. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.